We are now talking to Appalachian State tackle recruit Cole Essek. What's going on, Cole?
Not much. How about you guys?
Well, as you know, we're getting callers, people attacking. This is what we do, man. At 10:30 at night, it never ends here at the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. How are you, man? How are you and your family doing with this pandemic?
We're doing great. We're just staying safe, staying inside. Just watching the news and all that, staying, making sure we're not getting coronavirus or anything from our schools. So just staying healthy.
Did you enjoy the debate yesterday?
It was pretty funny, yeah.
I don't really watch the debates. I'm not a politician or political guy, but I had to pop it on because I love the faces that Donald Trump makes. It is the best, man. It's like the fish look. He's funny, man. I love it. It's more like a comedy show. It really is. And Biden doesn't know what the hell he's talking about half the time. So it was great. It really was fun to watch. So there you go. Anyways, what is it like being scouted by a Division I school like Appalachian State? I'm sure I see that Air Force was recruiting you, Army was recruiting you, Bowling Green, Central Arkansas, some very good schools. What made you decide, and what made you decide to go to Appalachian State?
I think it was the relationship that the coaches were building with me. I could feel, that there was something going on in that school, especially up in those mountains. I was talking with the offensive line, Coach Cardwell, and, he was transparent and he was honest with me from the very beginning about the school, the program. They're in the Sun Belt, so they're not a Power 5 school, and there's a lot of kids that, say their ego or their parents. They really want to go into a Power 5 school. That's just, not the main thing I was looking for. The football organization and their history, I think in the past 5 years, they've won their their conference and the bowl game straight for the past 5 years. And, they were just pretty much being honest. They were talking about what's going on in the school. I think we had an hour Zoom call going over tours and like points of interest among the campus. And, I got to talk with some of the players on the team through FaceTime. And it was really just a relationship he was building. He's a genuine guy. And same with Coach Clark. A lot of head coaches for a lot of big football teams, they usually don't get too involved with the recruiting process. So it was really good to kind of put names to faces and talk to all of them individually and, know them on a personal level.
So the Sun Belt you were talking about has had a very impressive start to this college football season. You got Louisiana, who's ranked. Your team was ranked at the beginning of the season, but then lost to Marshall. A lot of upsets throughout against Power 5 schools a lot of the time. So do you think this is how do you think this has been so far, impressive-wise? And do you think it could be a sign of things to come to grow into one of the better conferences?
Absolutely. I think with App State beating South Carolina and North Carolina in the same year, it's raising a lot of attention and it's bringing a lot of kind of people towards this conference. And, again, Louisiana, that's a big rival, but it's great to see that someone in the Sun Belt is also getting ranked. These big schools, they kind of build that 4-star, 5-star recruitment level. And what they don't realize, I don't know if you saw, Oklahoma just got upset by Kansas State. They had 0 4-star and 5-star players on their team, and they beat Oklahoma, who's pretty much built off of those recruits. So I think, with these smaller schools and Group 5 schools starting to beat Power 5 teams, it's not so much a chip on the shoulder as much as an expectation for a lot of these programs to go in and start beating these teams.
Kansas State did that after losing to Arkansas State, who's in the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. Oklahoma's always been overrated in my book. I mean, they come from a school, high-powered offense, terrible defense. So I've always thought they were an overrated school. They always bring in these top quarterbacks, running quarterbacks that are really more mobile than they are throwers. And some of them have succeeded in the NFL. Kyler Murray looks like he's going to be a player. I think Baker Mayfield is a bust. That's just my opinion. But over the years, I just think Oklahoma is more trying to feed to the offense, not feed to the defense. And when it comes to winning championships, it's all about defense. As you guys know, we are talking to Appalachian State tackle recruit Cole Essek. So, Cole, I'm reading right now your prospect info, your offensive tackle, 6'7", 240 pounds. Are your plans after college to possibly be an NFL player? If so, are you looking to grow or put on 60, 70 pounds? Because that's what you're going to need to be an offensive tackle in the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL, it's a great opportunity to always be able to think about, especially if you're getting the opportunity to play college football. Personally, I'm not like geared to be set for the NFL and kind of prepare there. I'm getting a free education, and I plan to get a good degree in either finance or business and use that to my advantage and, come out of college with no student loan debt. But, yeah, the NFL, I'd be more than willing to put on the 60, even 70 pounds and get ready to play, those contracts. Those are a pretty big deal for sure, especially left tackles. But, yeah, that's not like my plan A, but a plan B or a plan C would definitely be the NFL.
Yeah, so that shadows into my next question nicely. So we've seen a lot of smaller linemen succeed now in the NFL. Teams are prioritizing more quickness and agility linemen rather than the big brute strength guys. I mean, there are some exceptions, but most of the time, because of the spread offenses like that. Do you think that kind of trend will continue? And also, have you been involved in any of those types of offenses, those RPO type offenses at the high school level so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Our team is really built around our quarterback, honestly. That's kind of my point, is that I think with all these thinner and faster offensive linemen, that's coming with the evolution of the quarterback position. You're getting guys like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and, Russell Wilson. They're really not known as, pocket passers like a Tom Brady or a Ben Roethlisberger, say Drew Brees. So, if you can tell five offensive linemen who, are usually supposed to be those 350 pound guys, they can shift the line of scrimmage in the offensive line 5-10 yards outside of the box and keep the quarterback protected. I think, it's going to start shifting to, maybe slimmer guys that can maintain their agility, and you can put maybe 30, 40 pounds on them and, get them out into the middle of the field. And actually at App State, you watch some highlights, their center, Noah Cannon, he's in the end zone blocking some safety by the time the running back's scoring. So, I really do think that the agility of these offensive linemen is going to keep getting better and better and, quicker and quicker.
Cole, why don't you tell the fans, what is it like what is it like being in the recruiting process and having some of these coaches reach out to you, come and sit down with your family, talk about the school, talk about Appalachian State, Air Force, Army, Bowling Green, all these schools come and sit down with you, and you become the center stage in that living room or wherever you are, your kitchen. And what is it like being talked to by the coaches and telling them how much they want you there, how much they want you to play for their school, and they're going to give you a full ride education to go to their school?
It's a super humbling experience. I transferred to my new school, Tampa Catholic, from a public high school that, there really weren't any recruits coming through. There really wasn't much popularity, especially with the reputation the school had. So coming into my junior season, I really wanted to just play some good football. But it's definitely an extremely humbling and honoring experience for sure to have these coaches, want you to go to their school, their university. And, some of them are military academies. And that's even a bigger opportunity, not going there, that still doesn't discredit how grateful I was to get opportunities to go there. So, being able to talk on the phone with these coaches and in person with some of them before, shutdowns and COVID, all that happened, it truly was just an amazing experience. And it's one I'll definitely remember for the rest of my life. So
we talk about with corners a lot of the time being a big trash talking position, and a lot of those corners think that they're the most trash talking position, but also on the line of scrimmage, there's definitely a lot between the offense and defensive linemen. Do you think offensive linemen and defensive linemen are just as much, if not more, of trash talkers than corners are?
Yeah, I think, depending on the team you're talking to, there can definitely be a lot more in the trenches than, cornerbacks or wide receivers, because every single play you're hitting the guy in front of you full speed. There's really no avoiding contact at offensive defensive line. Cornerback might get a half run block by a wide receiver 10 yards down the field. But, playing tackle, guard, center, anywhere, defensive end, defensive tackle, if you're not talking and you're getting beat, you're going to start getting bullied physically and verbally. So I definitely think you got to have, some trash talk going in for the offensive line or defensive line.
We are talking to Appalachian State tackle recruit Cole Essek. And by the way, all you fans out there, if you're watching the Yankee game, the Yankees, it's tied right now, 6-6. They were up 6-4, and now it's 6-6. So they're going into the sixth inning. It's tied 6-6. So, Cole, the offensive line, people don't realize how important the tackle position is. And when you watch not only college football, you watch the NFL, I think the three most important positions right now in professional football, it's quarterback, cornerback, and offensive tackle, left offensive tackle. So when you look at the position as a whole, and being that you're a tackle, What is the thing that really stands out to you? Is it the foot, the way you plant your feet? Is it the way you use your hand as an offensive tackle? What makes an offensive tackle strong at their position?
I think it's the footwork and mental preparedness. You have to be able to know confidently that, you're going to be able to protect this quarterback and protect his career, whatever stage you're in, high school, college, or the NFL. Because, one bad mess up your feet, you get broken inside or outside, that quarterback's going to go down, and he's going to go down hard if he doesn't see that guy through his blind side. And so I think, if you have your good footwork, you don't have to be the biggest dude. Obviously, it helps to be, very heavy and especially be sound for any bull rush. But I think it comes down to footwork with a lot of offensive linemen and being ready for any cutbacks.